This is the Pilot Vanishing Point fountain pen. The color is metallic purple. It's a beautiful pen. It comes in this acrylic top box. I like the presentation of this. One of the other features that this pen came with that I thought was really fun is this gift bag here. If you look super closely, you can see that each of the wings of this Phoenix here is a fountain pen nib. I don't know if I need to refocus that so you can see it. But they're each little fountain pen nibs all built into a Phoenix, which is really fun. And of course the body is a Vanishing Point fountain pen. Looks like the gunmetal gray fountain pen. So anyway, let's take a look at this metallic purple. It comes in this gift box with kind of a foam insert. Here is the cartridge that it comes with, as well as a cartridge sleeve, but we'll get to that just a little bit later. And then this is the actual metallic purple fountain pen. This fountain pen comes in a ton of different colors: blue, yellow, red, green, purple. You've got black, silver, gunmetal. There's just a wide variety of finishes you can get this pen in. In terms of the overview of how it just looks pretty simple yet elegant. You have the knob that works similarly to a ballpoint or a push button retractable pen. And then there's two rings here where the joint is between the body parts. The pen clip here, it's kind of narrow where you would grip the pen, which you'll see the nib comes out of this side, which is odd because you usually anticipate the nib coming out of the side opposite of the clip, but that's to keep it upright in your pocket. And you would hold it here as you write. And then just the little section here, I guess, or the section will be underneath this, where the fountain pen nib comes out. So let's take it apart so you can see the innards, or the inside. So this is just your standard knob, goes back and forth in order to function the retractable part of this fountain pen. It's got a little tiny 18 karat gold black ion plated nib here, and it's tiny. And when I say that, I just want to show you, this is the Pilot Metropolitan, so the same manufacturer, but you can see the difference in nib size. And this Metropolitan isn't a large nib by any standards, it's just an average size nib. So I just wanted you to see the difference in size. Two different planets in terms of price, by the way. There's a review on my site, bestfountainpen.com, that shows close-ups of both these pens. And then there's a sleeve here that holds the section for this black ion coated 18 karat gold nib. I have been using the heck out of this pen. As you can see, I filled it with this purple ink that Pilot also makes, and I've been using it, so it's pretty dry, so we're going to refill it today. What's interesting in this is obviously the converter. Sorry if I didn't mention that. What's interesting is there's this little knob here, or a button, and what that does, and I'm trying to see if you can grab it there, you can see it, is it guides the nib so that you can't put it in the wrong direction. So you'll see around the threads here, there's a notch, and that guide, or that knob, fits right in that notch, and it won't go in any other way, and that's to keep you from damaging the nib. But when you slide it in, then you can see how that ballpoint sort of function works. So as we reassemble that pen, well, I guess we should ink it first, but I wanted to show you how that works. So when you push the knob itself, it releases the nib and then retracts it as well. And what's happening inside, I spent a lot of time looking at it kind of in slow motion because I was just fascinated. I don't know if you can catch that here. I don't have a macro lens, so you can't see super close up. But what's happening is inside this pen is a sort of garage door that's up, and then as you press the button, it lowers the garage door, and then the nib shoots out from there. So you can see that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and try to ink it on camera. Last time I did this, I made a big mess, so let's hope that this time goes a little better. So we've got our purple here, and our converter is already inside, and I know it's hard to do it blind because you can't see which way to twist. So I'm just gonna bring that piston all the way down inside the converter, reattach it just so that I can see what I'm doing there, and then, and then dunk it. And then now I'm gonna go up and down just a couple times to get rid of any of that extra air, draw some ink up, wipe it sort of along the sides. And now remember, it'll go straight in and that knob will keep it lined up nice. And I'm gonna just put the knob back on it. And let's recap that so I don't spill ink all over my freshly cleaned carpets. All right, so let's see how we did. So it should, hopefully, yeah, at least some of the excess ink, get that off of the nib, but it should be inked for us to write with. The one thing I wanted to tell you, pros and cons about this pen, obviously pros would be the finish. I love this metallic purple finish. It's beautiful, sparkly in the sunshine. It's just a gorgeous finish. Pros also is the functionality. It's extremely practical. I didn't expect to like it just because it's, you know, a click pen. It doesn't feel like a traditional fountain pen, but as I used it for the week that I did, or it's probably been 2 weeks now that I've been using it, I've been amazed at how much I've enjoyed the retractable part, just because when you're done writing, you pull the nib back in and it doesn't dry out and you don't have to think about it, which I ended up loving. One thing I didn't like was the grip here, where your thumb and forefinger can't really touch. There's the clip kind of rides in the middle, and they did do a good job of hollowing that out, but when you're writing with it, it does tend to get annoying sometimes. And one thing that I didn't notice until I was in a meeting actually at my day job is how loud the retractable mechanism is. It doesn't seem that loud right now when, you know, you're dealing with ambient noise and other things that are going on, but when you're in a really silent meeting and you're retracting the pen, it's louder than a normal ballpoint click or a normal click pen. It's because there's a lot going on in here. There's a lot of moving parts. So you can just hear it really loudly if you're in a quiet room. Now in terms of cartridge fill, so we showed you the converter to grab the cartridge over here. One thing I will tell you, and I know this review is running longer than my standard 3-minute shorts, but there's just a lot to this pen, is it comes with a sleeve. Now I'm not one to read instructions. I'm the first to admit that I usually just toss the instructions aside. But it did come with a manual, and I had to refer to it because after playing with this for a while, I just couldn't figure out what the purpose of this was, why it had a little metal jacket. I didn't understand it. But when you take the pen apart and pull that converter off that's already on, this cartridge slides right in its place and actually goes in this way, so the wide side down, and then this ballpoint mechanism functions on the back side of that. It looks like it would go the other way because there's a little hole here. It looks like it would go the tapered side in, but doesn't quite fit that way. And then when I read the instructions, lo and behold, this takes up some extra space, and this ribbing helps keep it in place inside of the pen so that you can also use the cartridge that way, and obviously it punctures on that side. So we'll put this off to the side, and let's grab a notebook here and grab some empty pages. I use this one a lot. So now I haven't used this in just a day, but obviously you saw I've been using it a whole lot because it was all dried up. So let's see if it'll write right out of the ink bottle. It should. Now this is a fine nib, if I could write. Now it's not scratchy, but I will tell you the sound of it, it sounds scratchy, just because it's almost like a needlepoint fine. It's bordering on extra fine. And let me show you how it does here. What I love about it is even when I scribble super fast, I don't have to slow down. It keeps up. The nib and feed both keep up with everything that I'm doing. It does make a super fine line, as you can see, but it does keep up with everything you want to do, whether you're writing chicken scratches, anything. So that was a really nice feature of this pen. If I had to buy one, I would probably lean toward a medium, unless you like, or this maybe is your first fountain pen and you're looking for a finer line that looks more like a ballpoint, then obviously the fine would work for you. If I was to get another one, I'd probably go medium or broad, just because it would make for a better line. So if you want any more information on this pen, please check out my website at bestfountainpen.com, where you'll see some close-up photos and a lot more information on how I felt about this pen. Thanks so much.